Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. So, for today's Quran exploration, we're going to be going over Surah Al-Falaq. So, as usual, what we're going to do is I'm going to recite the Surah Al-Falaq and then go over the literal translation and then its implication on our lives, inshallah. And today will be a shorter one, inshallah. So, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد صدق الله العظيم. So the literal translation of the surah goes as follows. Say, I seek refuge in the Lord of the daybreak, from the evil of anything that He has created, and from the evil of darkness when it gathers, from the evil of the conjuring witches, from the evil of the envious when he envies. The very first ayah says, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. Say, I seek refuge in the Lord of the daybreak. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He started out the surah by referring to Himself as what? The Lord of the daybreak. And falaq, it means like daybreak, but it could be taken as like the whole phenomenon of creation itself. So the Lord of the daybreak means when everything started, when the creation started. And this interpretation of falaq comes from another ayah, Surah 6, where it says, it is Allah who splits the falaq, the grain and the fruit stone. He brings forth the living out of that which is dead. He is the one who causes the day to break, falaq. He has made the night to be a stillness, and the sun and the moon for reckoning. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here is talking about just bringing glory and telling the person who's reading the ayah that say, I seek refuge, I seek help, I seek sustenance, I seek, whenever I'm in a situation of a need or help, I seek refuge from Allah. But instead of referring to Him as Allah, He gives Him a characteristic about Himself, which is what? The Lord of the daybreak. The one who, brings daybreak, brings the creation from nothing. The one who started everything. That's how He starts off the surah. And it's very important because as the surah goes on, it links to its very first ayah. As we continue on at the very end, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, basically Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala paints a picture of a human that is in a very, very, very tough situation. Very, very tough situation. And then that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala starts off the surah saying, say, I seek refuge in the Lord of the daybreak when you're in these kind of situations. The next ayah talks about from the evil of anything that He has created. So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala introduces the evil. And it says what? It tells you that there will be evil. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows all that possible evil that may come to you, that you may be dealing with. So He's saying whenever you are, because the previous guy said, seek refuge from the Lord of the daybreak, from the evil of anything He has created. So anything that you may encounter, whether you may think it's a unique problem that no one has ever dealt with, or it's something that no one has a solution for, or you just feel like you're limited, you have nowhere to go, seek refuge from the Lord of daybreak, the one who created everything from nothing. And it's talking about the evil of anything that may come to mind as evil. Seek refuge in Allah. And the next ayah, which I feel paints a very strong image, is from the evil of darkness when it gathers. Now here in the ayah it says شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ. And so I'm going to read a little quick thing about غَاسِقًا. So from a linguistic point of view, غَاسِق means substantially pouring out. And waqab, the next ayah, غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَب, is a name given to a little hole in a mountain through which water issues forth. And then while waqab is the verb talking about this action, what is probably meant here in this ayah is talking about like at the night when it rapidly engulfs the world. So imagine this self, it's a very terrifying image. It's saying from the evil of darkness when it gathers, وَمِن شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ. So you're evil. غَاسِق is what we said, substantially pouring out. You're alone and evil just keeps pouring out, pouring out, pouring out, pouring out. إِذَا وَقَب. It's becoming dark and darker and darker. And you're alone evil keeps coming substantially a lot, and you're stuck alone. Everything's around you is dark. And this paints an image of what? Of when you're alone, when you're in fear, when you're in a tough situation, you feel like there's no hope, no solution. This is the image that's painted. Imagine you are yourself, you're locked in a room, complete darkness, and you have no hope. This is the image that's painted. A lot, completely engulfed, no way out. That's the image that's painted. And just remember, like we said, what does the first ayah talk about? Say, I seek refuge in the Lord at daybreak. So when you face any kind of evil, like the second ayah stated, say, I seek refuge in the Lord at daybreak. When you feel as if the darkness around you is gathering you, you're stuck, there's no way out, say, I seek refuge in the Lord at daybreak. The next ayah then talks about وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ, from the evil of the conjuring witches. And the next ayah kind of matches together, and from the evil of the envious when he envies. The first one talks about the whole idea of like witches and witchcraft and all that kind of stuff. Back in the day, that used to be very prevalent, and even nowadays, a lot of people do believe in witchcraft. So, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to protect yourself, don't fall for these kind of evils. And if you do happen to fall, seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Be aware of that. And this ayah, it might not be affected to us too much because we're not really involved in that very much. But back during the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this was a very, very big part of society. There were a lot of witches. That's how a lot of people made money. They would be, dealing in witchcraft in a lot of different ways. And it was an integral part of society. That's why if you think about it from the perspective of a person in Quraysh or a person in Mecca or a person back in the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and these kind of ideas of witches and witchcraft and everything was prevalent. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whenever you face these kind of difficulties or evil from these kind of actions, say again, I seek refuge in the Lord of the daybreak. And the very last ayah says, from the evil of the envious when he envies. Everyone's heard about hasad. I mean, you've heard of envy, the idea of envy, that if people envy, that might cause bad things for you. And we're not going to deny that. That's within Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us that does happen, and it's something for you to know, but there's not really a way around it for you except what? Seeking refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Seeking refuge, not causing hate, not making it a whole big issue that I can't live now. There's people that are constant. There's envy, hasad, and making it a big deal. No, the way to go around it, the way to be relieved from it, is to what? Back to the very first ayah. Say, I seek refuge in the Lord of the daybreak. And a very common theme here is shown. You have to realize that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started off the ayah saying, say, I seek refuge in the Lord of the daybreak, and illustrating his strength, illustrating that he's the one that everything began from. He's the creator of everything. He's the one that made something from nothing. All the evil that you may be facing is within his knowledge, within his control, within his power. Even when you're alone in a tough situation and you feel as if what? غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبْ. Completely, imagine that. You yourself in a location where it's completely dark, engulfed, and more evil just keep pouring in. That's the image that's given in this ayah. And even when you're in that kind of situation, say, I seek refuge in Allah. The one who has all knowledge about this. The one who knows all kind of evil that can exist. The one and only one that can help you in this situation. And then it talks about envy, which is, in some cultures more than others, is a pretty big deal. And where hasad and envy comes in. But yet again, and people feel as if it's the end of the world. I can't get out of it. But no, the way you get out of it is through what? The very first ayah again. Say, I seek refuge in the Lord of the daybreak. It's a very common theme, but unfortunately, as humans, we are called insan. Insan comes from the word forget. We are forgetful. So the more we deal with life, the more we forget. We can think we are the ones that will solve our issues. We are the ones that the result is in our hands. We forget that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is what? The Lord of the daybreak. Right? El-Falaq. Rabb al-Falaq, one who created everything. We forget that. That's why you have to go back and seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in these kind of situations. And that's the very short tafsir of Surah Al-Falaq. Are there any questions, comments?